back in this place. If he don't like it, tell him we can run a fade. Cause I looked at my hands, they look new. Looked at my feet, and they did too. Walked through the fire and I came out crispy. I'm back outside, did you miss me? God's been good through the highs and the lows. Let me testify that he never let me go. If I had a megaphone, I'd tell 100,000 souls. The reason that I
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Distant Traumas. I'm your host, Lisa Stiles. Thank you for tuning in. I pray everyone has had a blessed and safe week. If not, I pray it gets better. If you haven't prayed, you should take a minute and say a quick prayer because prayer does changes things. All right. So on this episode, we are going to be talking about hidden secrets. And also on this episode, I have my husband back again as the co-host. Say hi, babe.
How you guys doing?
And I would like to say the last episode we did, I didn't give you a chance to say thank you for coming, being on the podcast, being on the episode. I was just ready to get off so we could cuddle. But thank you for being on the last episode.
Thank you so much.
Okay, as I said, this week we're going to be talking about hidden secrets. It seems like people born in the 50s and the 70s wanted to keep secrets. And what I mean by that is, for instance, like when I talk about my first cousin molesting me at the age of 6, everybody wanted to keep that as a secret. Nobody wanted to talk about it. They didn't pull me to the side to talk about it. It just happened, and it was just brushed under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in the last episode we talked about your situation with your sister's daughter, where it seemed like it was a hidden secret, and then it's like it was brushed under the rug, and nobody really wanted to address that situation.
Not at all.
And I just wonder why it just seems like that generation, they just wanted to keep secrets. And another situation, you mind me talking about the situation with your son in the house in the fire?
Go ahead.
Okay. I have to ask that out of respect, even though I know about the situation, of course, because I was there during the situation, but I have to ask out of respect. But it was a situation that happened where your son's mother's house caught on fire.
Right.
And they kept that as a secret. They didn't tell you until it was after the fact, until after they came from the hospital, correct?
Yeah, after they came from the hospital and everything was done, and it was pretty much done and over with. And they came and told me that the house caught on fire. It was due to the chimney. I guess somehow the chimney caught on fire, and that's what started the fire. And I was later notified that after.
And they had to go to the hospital and everything.
Everything was done, so.
And not even your mom called to tell you.
Nobody.
How did that make you feel, knowing that your son could have been burnt up in a house fire, or he was that close of being in a house fire and no one called to at least tell you what was going on?
I mean, it actually made me feel angry, because the simple fact that nobody came to me to tell me anything is just like, okay, well, this is a serious situation, and it could have been worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could have. Yeah, it really could have. That's takes me back to what I was just saying about my cousin. And his brother is actually serving a 70-year prison term. I've talked about him a couple of times in previous previous episodes. And he had told me, when we was conversing, he had told me the reason why he feels that his brother started touching on me is because he was jealous of our relationship the relationship that I had with his oldest brother, which was the cousin that was telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom wanted a daughter, and they wanted a little sister. And for some reason, because I was closest to the older brother, he felt like I was taking him away from him, which I don't remember all that. I just was,
Right.
happy to be with the boys because I was the baby. So I grew up around boys and I was a tomboy. And my oldest cousin, the one that serving a prison time, he always came and got me because my brother didn't want me to be around. So he felt bad for me, so he would come and get me and have me play with them. They taught me how to fight. They taught me how to play football, how to carry blades in my mouth, the whole nine. So I was really a tomboy, for real, for real. And I just didn't. I still don't understand why he would feel that way, but that's his feelings. But for him to go so far as to start touching on me because of that, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
And now I'm dealing with the situation with the cousin that's in prison. The older cousin that I was close with, he now wants to be in a long-term serious relationship with me. Weird, nasty, not to mention he's my first and second cousin. And the fact that all these hidden secrets is coming out, like I really feel like the mom knew what was going on with her boys, and they hid it.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that she didn't have some type of feeling or whatever. Maybe that could be why she hasn't reached out to me today to even apologize.
That could be a possibility, because she knows her kids. They say a mother know their kids, regardless of what they do or how they do it.
Now I'm not blaming her for his actions,
right?
Because you can't blame you can't always blame the child's action on a parent, because you could be an awesome parent and the child could be Michael Myers, but at the same time that your child is Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And some parents,
you just look, pretty much they just turn the other cheek.
Turn the other cheek. And then you have those parents where the kids is building bombs and they know their kids is building bombs, and the next thing you look up, they shooting up schools. And the mom would say, oh, well, I knew he was building this and building that, but I didn't know he was that serious. Yes, the hell you did.
Yeah.
Because you could have stopped it. You could have nipped it in the butt. And what's crazy about the situation is I have an uncle, God rest his soul, that passed away. And he looked at us young girls like when he looked at us, it's like he was undressing us with his eyes. And I feel like if I had busted it wide open for him, he would have took that opportunity.
Right.
And I've heard that he slept with another cousin of mine, close cousin, actually his niece, that he slept with her. And I kind of believe it.
That's disgusting.
But I wasn't there. And that's another hidden secret of the family. Everybody knows, because my mom kept a short leash with me when he was around. She did not let me sit on his lap. She did not even let me sit by him. Like, when he was to come in the room, she would sit there. Like, that was one thing I could say on that part. She didn't play those games when it came to him. So that makes me feel like she knows.
Yeah, she already knew, and pretty much she was putting a barrier between you and him. So... and let him know without actually having to say anything.
Yeah. And I feel like my dad kind of knew too, because my dad, he is actually kin to me really through my dad, not my mom. And so it's like when his name would come up, you could kind of see it on my dad's face or whatever, and he had like a upholstery shop where we're from. And my dad, from time to time he would stop by there, say hi, whatever, but he really didn't deal with them like that. So I want to say he kind of knew, but at the same time maybe he didn't, but I feel like the family knew that he was a perv.
Yeah.
And they kept it hidden secrets.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean to change the topic of what you're talking about, but I have a hidden secret that I guess my mom is holding, far as with
your dad.
My dad.
Yeah, I was gonna actually tap onto that, but since you brought it up, you can go ahead and talk about it.
And far as us having the same last name, that's a little weird.
Well, explain a little bit better. Your mom and dad has the same last name. Yeah.
Right.
Now, it's possible that they may not be kin, but
yeah, that's what I want to know. Like, how did he come with the same last name if they never got married? I mean, was they married or was they not married? Like,
And
but either way, still, how did he get that last name?
Mhm.
But all of her sisters
has
also
another
have this
same last
same
name.
last
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
weird. And it's
it's all
like
Gidry.
when you
So
did ask her, you gets nothing.
gets nothing. You
And
know,
like
and
when we just visit your aunt in
yeah,
Louisiana, and you had brung it up, and her answer that she gave, it was kind of like she said, "Well, we asked her, and she said, oh, we're not kin,' and they left it at that." But
right.
her expression on her face and the way she said it was as
If
if
she was like, possibility could been kin.
it's a little bit more to that
You know,
story.
it's more to that story, and we don't know what that story is, and because nobody's not talking.
And I think it's messed up because I get it. She may not want to bring up her past to make her look a certain type of way, but at the same time, you created this, so now you have questions. I mean, your dad is in prison. You don't have a relationship with your father.
No.
You said you seen your father what, once that you could remember, maybe.
I guess that was him. I guess I seen him once. I could
So
say
you
that, and that
literally
was
don't even know
actually
what your
as
dad sounds like.
a teenager. So, and
So you possibly wouldn't even know him if he walked in the store in
no,
front of you.
I wouldn't.
And that's messed up, I think, because as you being a black man growing up in America, you're fatherless. At least she can answer those questions for you.
Yeah.
At least, I feel like she should at least answer those questions, because that's not fair to you.
No.
You wasn't asked to be here. You didn't create that problem. So she need to put on her big grown woman panties and face up to her reality of what she calls.
Yeah.
And if it's possibility that they were kin, then you are a baby from incest.
Yeah.
I don't know what that might do to your mental, because I know you're a type of person, you really don't show feelings like that, y'all. The only time I really seen my husband cry is when I walked down the aisle when we had our wedding renewal, and when he got his dog. That's the only two times.
I didn't cry when I got that dog.
Yes, you did. You cried. You were so happy when you got that little dog. Like, I seen about 2-3 tears fall down your eyes when you got that dog. And that dog, from day one, that is his baby. She peed on him when we first got him, and that's his baby. That's his baby, y'all. And he cried.
I don't remember seeing no tears.
You ain't gonna see him because they coming out your eye ducts. You felt them though roll down your cheek.
I didn't feel them neither.
Y'all, yes he did, y'all. But I just feel like, and to bounce off of your situation with your dad, like my mother, I never met my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I've seen picture, but it wasn't a clear picture.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I saw, she had pretty long hair. She had a gold tooth. They say that when she passed away, everybody wanted that gold tooth. And she was a Cherokee Indian. And my grandfather, my mother's father, killed my grandmother in front of my mother and her sister when my mother was roughly around 12 o'clock. He shot her.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather did go to prison, and my grandmother actually haunted my grandfather every single day of his life until he died. Even when he was in the shower, there was grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she literally didn't let him have no peace. Even though he got remarried, him and his new wife adopted a kid, kept him away from everybody. He literally lived right across the street from one of my uncles and around the corner from his other daughter. And his wife, his new wife and new son didn't even know
that was his family.
She knew that the son, no, she knew about the son and daughter. She knew about them, but she didn't know about his other kids.
Oh.
She didn't know about my mom. She didn't know about my cousin's moms, my other aunts, and my other uncles. She didn't know. Even the people around my grandfather that he had around him after he got out of prison, his new life, didn't know about his past life. So he never met me. Well, he did. He met us one time when we moved to Washington, and we actually was moving back up north, and we was actually living with my uncle that was living across the street from my grandfather, and he put us out. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have anywhere to go. So my grandfather let us come there until my dad came and picked us up. But I was young. I was a baby. I don't remember
Right.
what he looked like.
You
I
didn't
couldn't even
remember
tell you
any
what
of
he
that.
smelled like. So I didn't have a relationship with my grandfather. I wish I had a relationship with my grandfather. Even let me choose if I wanted to have a relationship with
Right.
him. You know, and I'm mad because even asking about my grandma, all I have is a first and last name and a birthday. My son is the only grandchild born on her actual birthday.
Right.
That's all I know about my grandmother, and I know where she's buried at, but I couldn't tell you where, you know, the area back there, because it's like back in the woods, and she only have like, she doesn't even have a headstone. She just have one of those little plates.
The plot.
I guess,
you know.
you know, and I would love to know my grandmother's history, especially if she was a full-fledged Cherokee Indian.
That's what I was gonna say. You know, it seemed like that none of the I could say for my family anyway, but and yours too, from what you tell me, that none of them wants to really come out and say like our family history.
Hidden secrets.
It's
Like,
like they
why?
just want to cover it up. Like, don't you think that we want to know who our
And
family
then when you
was?
ask, the
And
first thing they say, "Oh, you bringing up old stuff. You causing drama. You want to keep stuff going." I want to know about me.
and just like how, you know, when you was coming out with the podcast, and then you found out that you was talking actually to one of my cousins, and
Yep.
didn't even know it. And
Yep.
that's a close cousin.
Yep.
And
Yep. This lady had posted something on TikTok about some podcast equipment, and so I had already got my equipment because actually you had brought my equipment a couple of years ago because I wanted to do voiceovers, and I said, "Who wants to start a podcast with me, y'all?" And his cousin actually was the second person that commented. So I'm just talking to her, you know, randomly or whatever. So then we happened to jump on Zoom to talk about the podcast and blah blah blah. And so she started asking me about my last name. I said, "Yeah." I said, "That's my husband's last name is Creole. He's from Louisiana." And so she was like, "What part of Louisiana?" You know, make a long story short, come to find out that's your close cousin.
yep.
Your close cousin. So it's like,
You got so many hidden secrets.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't know where to start.
no. And it's like you don't even know who you are. I'll take it a step further. My dad's dad, I knew him, had a relationship with him. I loved him. He had the best fruit. He used to sell fruit, but he was a rolling stone. Where he laid his head at was his home. He would leave my grandma weeks and weeks at a time. You'll look up, here comes granddad. Grandma be cooking, make his plate. Granddad go in the kitchen. Granddad sits down. Grandma don't ask granddad nothing. Where you been? Where? Nothing. She just going on as like if it never happened. And I know for a fact because he used to live in this house, and I'm like, why granddad don't live with grandma? Like, what's going on? And nobody really wanted to answer the question. But, you know, I eavesdropped a couple times, and I, you know, would hear little bits and pieces or whatever. But yeah, my granddad was a Rolling Stone. But
Yeah.
come to find out, my actual last name that I got from my dad, from my granddad, is not even his actual last name. Weird story. My grandfather was actually a product from a cheating situation.
Mm-hmm.
The grandmother that I thought was my grandmother, my great grandmother, excuse me, God rest her soul. I didn't like her. She was evil. She was the evilest lady that you ever want to meet. And she raised my grandfather. She wasn't even his mother.
Mm-hmm.
His mother cheated with her husband. And for some reason, his mother didn't want the baby. So the dad took the baby and brought it home.
Mm-hmm.
And so grandma, my great grandma, raised him and
Yep.
gave them his last name. So for years, I'm thinking I'm a Gaskins, but I'm not a Gaskins. I'm really a Hunt, because that was my grandfather's last name. Nobody in my father's family wants to talk about it, wants to address it. They didn't even try to find out who his family was. Like, y'all didn't care about that part of your life, that part of the world, you know, who your people really is.
And that's also another thing with my side. All I know is, far as my dad being a Guidry, other name that I was told that was his last name was a Huntley or a Huntsberry or something like that.
That's weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Same last name symbols,
Yeah.
similarities.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's weird because I say it all the time to my husband that he's my what they call that? What is it that they call that when you're just alike? Not fire. I have to come back to it. Soul
Mm-hmm.
ties or soul
Mm-hmm.
angel or something like that or whatever. That we have so much in common with our lives. Like if you get hurt, I get hurt. If you get cut, I get cut. If you get a bruise, I get a bruise, and it's literally in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you went through certain similarities that I did. You're the baby, I'm the baby. You was born in February, I was born in February. We're literally 1 year and 1 week apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we just share so many similarities, and right down to you saying the last name of your family, and I'm saying the last name of my family,
Mm-hmm.
and it's close.
So, yeah.
And it's just like you was on one side of the world and I was on another side of the world, and we're literally going through the same
thing.
Same thing.
Same similarities, just different genders.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know, some people would say, oh, well, you're probably together because of trauma bonding. You know, at first I did think that there was trauma bonding, but I think it's more than that. I really do. And when you told me that time that God put you here to be my angel,
Mm-hmm.
to keep a smile on my face, it's like I cried because I felt that. Like, I really felt that. Like, I really, 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 really felt that. And you have not missed a beat.
No. Try not to.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. So hopefully this will really earn you your wings. I don't know what the hell you did up there for him to kick you down here to earn wings. Did you steal some chocolate or something? Because you know you love chocolate.
Cookies.
Cookies. Oh, you stole cookies. So maybe that's why he sent you down here. But this, you definitely will earn your wings with this one. But I literally just don't know what the secrets are. Like why they gotta hold these secrets. It doesn't benefit. It just doesn't benefit anybody because it makes you have a certain type of feeling towards that person.
Yeah, because with
resentment.
Yeah, and with them holding their secrets back, like they won't even come out to say pretty much what they endured in their childhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you hear bits and pieces, but you don't hear their whole true story on.
Like my mom and them with my grandmother, they don't talk about her.
Right.
I've never heard them talk about grandma or talk about the incident at all. They just took it and swept it under the rug and kept on moving. I understand that was tragic, and I'm quite sure they probably still haven't gotten over it. But I would still love to know who my grandma is and who my family is.
Right. And I think last time I actually heard a story from my mom about, and it was really with my dad, and I think you was there when she was talking about that her, I guess my dad was
abusive,
about to get in a fight with Dave, and you know they
his
was
stepdad,
and then they was about to. Dave said he was gonna shoot him, and you know they was going back and forth with that, and pretty much that's all my mom talks about is that, and then also
she talks about how abusive he was.
Yeah, about how abusive
and you know,
my dad
maybe
was.
That could be a reason why she don't want to bring him up. But at the same time, you should know who your father is.
Yeah.
You should know your legacy.
Yeah.
It's not fair to you. She chose that man. She picked that man, and that's not fair for you. It's not fair to you at all.
And then I don't like how when it's situations where you know your parents they had trauma with your their significant other, which was you know your father or your mother, you know how they switch it and say, oh well, you're gonna turn out just like them. You know why do they say that? Like what's for them to mix you up with them when they should be telling you that, oh, you're gonna be better than him,
I don't
or
know.
better than her.
I really don't know. It's kind of like they're, and that's another topic that I'm gonna be talking about, projection.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people project their issues, their pain onto someone else because it's easier to do that. It's easier to do projection than to face your own shit and to
Yeah.
stand in your own shit. And a lot of people don't want to stand in their own shit. That's the thing. They don't want to stand in it. They create the shit, but they don't want to stand in it.
No.
And a lot of people do project, and I don't like that either. So that could be a defense mechanism for her. I really don't know. I can't answer that question for her. But she did tell you a couple of times that you was gonna end up like your dad in prison.
Yeah.
Why? What made her say that? Did you do something, or was she mad, or?
I guess it was just like a saying that you used, the Mad Mondays. You know.
I say the Mad Mondays about people when they're mad at you, they tell your business.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say Mad Mondays. So you can't use that as that. That's
But
not Mad Mondays.
she was on her mad something because she that's what she always used to say.
So how did it make you feel when she made that statement? And you not really knowing your father, all you really know is your father is he was violent and he's in prison for killing someone, right?
Yeah, for murdering somebody.
So how did it make you feel? She's comparing you to a murderer. But yet she didn't tell you about the murderer.
It made me feel angry because, like, why are you gonna put me in that person's shoes
Mm-hmm.
when just because I'm his son
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make me like him?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could look like somebody,
Mm-hmm.
act like somebody, but
Mhm.
not be that person.
Not have the same characteristics.
Right.
Now we all have a few characteristics like our parents. We all do.
Right. You know, we carry, similarity traits,
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
but I don't see why, you would push that off on somebody like that, like it's just nothing. Like,
Mhm.
okay, well, you're gonna just
Mm-hmm.
push that off on me.
Like what my mom used to say to me when I was
Right.
younger, that I'm not enough, I would never be enough, I ain't shit. Like I remember one time I was standing in the hallway. I was coming out of the kitchen and I was standing in the hallway, and where I turned to go to my room, I'll make a left
Mhm.
and bear off to, I say, maybe 8 o'clock. That you turn 8
Yeah.
o'clock into my room, and right across from there was her room, and across the other way to the right was my brother's room. And I was going in my room, and I think I just finished eating some cheese, and my mother used to beat me for eating cheese. I used to love cheese. And she was standing there in the middle of the hallway, and I had to literally get by her to get to my room.
Mhm.
And she was like standing there like a football player, like with this stance. And I'm short, big eyes, little girl, and I'm looking up at her, and she's like a giant over top of me. And she was like, you ain't enough. You ain't never gonna be enough. And I mean, she's talking down to me like a cartoon character, spit all on my face and everything, and I'm just standing there, big eyes, just looking at her. And I'm crying, but at the same time, I didn't break my stance.
Right.
And I just took all that in. And give me a second. And I just took all that in, and I went in my room. And I sat there, and I just prayed to God that God would kill her.
Yeah.
Like, I really prayed, because I didn't understand why she would tell me that all because I was eating cheese. Like,
that's the way that makes you feel when you're angry, and you're angry at your parents. Oh, I'm pretty sure all kids done it. They love their parents, but you sit back and you be like, oh, I wish they would die. I wish somebody would kill them. Or,
but the fact
you
of
say
the matter
that.
is that followed me my whole life. Like, I'm 44 years old, and I just really started looking at myself as being enough.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that words hurt.
Yeah, words do hurt.
And words.
You are an amazing person. You're great. You're a wonderful wife. Like you said, you really don't get out to do much. When you do, you have those friends that try to sit up there and think that you're better than them when you're only just trying to be a friend.
I'm just being myself. Like,
and
for so long, I felt like I wasn't enough because of friends like that, because of family, because of people that really made you feel like you wasn't enough. And now I just thank God that I know I am.
Yeah.
I'm way more than enough.
And just being around people like that just made you an introvert. You know,
Yeah.
to want to
I
really
stayed to myself.
stay to
I always
yourself.
stayed to myself. And it's like, I can still feel her breath. I can still feel her spit. Just telling me that. And I just didn't understand why she would want to break me like that. And I don't know. But anyway, Mama got me up here crying.
It's just
But
because she know you was gonna be better than her, or she seen you being better than her is the reason why she said that to you to try to break you down.
And that's more hidden secrets with her, because I still don't know why my mom don't like me. That's a hidden secret within itself.
Yeah.
Like, why? Because I know it's not me. I wasn't asked to be here. I actually was a miracle baby. My mom had me on a half an ovary.
Right.
And I don't know. It's a question that I probably would never get answered.
And I can't wait till we get to the episode to where we're talking about the things that my mom used to say and
I mean, you can say it now.
and do to me, and
I mean, you can say one of them now if you like.
Well, this is a big one. It's
Okay.
it's one that I want to save for another
Okay.
episode, because
Well, how about I'll give you an episode where you could just talk about your trauma. I'll let you run that episode.
Okay,
And
that'll be great.
Express that. I'm actually glad that
I don't know if it'll be a half hour long, but
it'll be how many minutes you want it to be. But it gives you
enough.
that avenue to talk about it, because people don't understand talking about things do help. And I'm glad that you did agree to talk about your stuff.
Yeah.
Also, you also know by you talking about your stuff, it could hinder your relationship with your family, because what they say, keep it in the house, don't talk about it, blah 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 blah. Fuck all that.
I mean, you got to talk about it, because if not, you just gonna hold it all in, and it's not gonna be good to hold it all in.
No. I'm in a stage in my life where I'm tired of covering up my truth for your lies.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like I said, the reason of me doing this podcast, God told me to do this podcast. God told me to do this. And if it just helps one person, you never know who's going through the same stuff that you going through, and they don't have anybody to talk to or an outlet. And to know that you're not alone. Like, I thought I was alone when I was growing up going through this type of stuff, because I'm like, dang. And then I would see other people with their mothers, and they just look so lovable, like the mother's loving on them and all that. And I'm like, well, what the hell wrong with my mama?
Right.
What the hell is wrong with me? So a very long time I thought I was the problem.
Right.
I really felt like I was the problem.
Yeah, I know. There's probably some men out there who probably feel like
the same
that.
Way, yeah.
They can't really talk about certain
But we're
things.
in a world where men not supposed to cry.
Right.
Men not supposed to share their feelings,
because they just been put in that situation to not talk about it, not have no feelings about it,
and that's why I try to create a place for
take
you,
everything
a safe place
in,
for
and
you to cry. It's
so
okay.
They gotta be. They got to be able to express themselves.
Yes.
Not saying you got to cry to express yourself, but you got to be able to, show your feelings, and also, vent to somebody about, certain situations.
Because can't vent
just
to
not to anybody, but you got to be able to get those feelings out to, I guess, heal yourself.
Yeah, for your mental state is important. Your mental state is very important, and that's why I wrote my first book, because that was therapy for me. But I knew I had to do something bigger, because holding all of that in and walking around with all that is not good.
No,
and
it's
this
not.
is a way that I can really clear my mental, because I tried to do the therapist. I did.
Yeah.
They hooked me up with a 90-something-year-old old man. He looked like he about to fall asleep, like he was on his last Sonic coin. And I'm like, what the hell? Are you gonna say something back? Like, what are you doing? You're drawing? You doodling? You doing a crossword puzzle? What you doing, Uncle Ben? And I'm like, what does this 95-year-old man have in common with me?
Nothing.
I mean, I could have stayed home, threw that little $100 to my teddy bears, picked it back up, and got a pair of shoes and some bubble gum.
Yeah.
So I stopped going to the therapist, because I felt like
it wasn't helping.
No.
He wasn't really really you felt that he was pretty much dismissing your thoughts and your feelings that you was talking to him about, because he's just sitting over there just
Just sitting
scribbling
over
in the
there.
pad and
Yeah.
like you said, taking his little nap.
And I don't have family and friends that I can talk to, because like you said, I use the term Mad Mondays. When people get mad at you, they want to tell your business, they want to throw everything you told them up in your face. Like I tried that with a young lady I was being friends with. I really thought that she was my friend, that I could tell her some things. And when we had a falling out, the first thing she said, "Oh, you need a hug," because I told her that my mother only maybe hugged me good 10 times in my whole life. And I said, I just need a hug. And that's the first thing she threw up in my face. "Oh, you must need a hug." Bitch, you lucky that I couldn't reach my hand through the phone and choke the shit out of you. Like I was 10 seconds for getting in the car, driving to her house. But at the same time, what would that have solved? Because I told her my business.
Right.
I told her those personal things about me. So I had to be held accountable for even telling her that.
Right.
So I took full responsibility for that situation, and I chunked it up on the chin, and I said I would never open myself up to nobody like that ever again.
Right. Because when you open yourself up to telling people your secrets, I guess that'll be your secrets.
They throw it up in your face.
They throw it up in your face and they use it against you.
Yep, Mad Mondays. But I just would love to know if anybody else is dealing with the same similar situations, as far as family having hidden secrets. We didn't go that deep into it, because there's a lot of hidden secrets in my family. We would need a part 10 talking about all the secrets, but those are just a few that hit the surface that I still ponder with today. And your situation with your dad, I know you don't really share your feelings much, you don't talk about your feelings much, you're not really an emotional person. But I know at some point from time to time you think about it. Yeah. And I know you will want to know who your father is.
And the thing about it, I'm a truck driver, so as I ride down the road, I don't hardly listen to music. I sit back and there's some things that I do think about. Like, who would I been if I actually was able to have a relationship with my father, or just the thought of what could have shaped my life different if I could have just actually got to be able to have conversations with him. Like you said, you never threw a football, your dad never threw a football or anything with you. Just doing that type of stuff with him, or whatever type of hobbies he may have had. I mean, of course, one of his hobbies is killing.
Oh shit.
But so but it was just been
Hold on. You just can't. I'm just not gonna let you just sit here and skip the loo past what you just said. One of his hobbies is killing. Oh my stars! Like, you're not just gonna sit here and skip. You know what? Go ahead. Let me just.
But I mean, maybe he could have been a different person.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe,
or just to find out if he was the person that you've heard him out to be.
Right.
Yeah. But you have any final thoughts? We're gonna wrap this episode up.
Well, all I could really say is, just some of you men out there just really, kind of find somebody you could talk to that you could trust, and really get yourself, really get yourself situated.
Like I said, I try to create a safe space for you where you feel that you could talk to me, you could cry if you want to, whatever the case. You could just lay your head on my shoulder or whatever, and I just rub you. I just want to create that safe space for you, because men do need to express themselves. They need an outlet just like us women do, because men do have a lot on their shoulders. They really do. But thank you for being on this episode. I didn't tell you last time, but thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And it's been a pleasure.
Oh. And the next episode, well, not, it may not be the next episode, but you will have your own little episode where you can go into deep and talk about what you want to talk about. I even have a little segment, maybe men's corner. We'll talk about that. Maybe you could start something like that. Have a men's corner where you could have a panel of men or whatever the case may be. You just never know where this may go.
That should be great.
But after each episode, I always leave my contact information in case you want to leave a message, a positive message, a comment, or if you want to tell your story or whatever. It is Distant Traumas with the S podcast at gmail.com. Again, that's Distant Traumas with the S podcast at gmail.com. And I always end in a Bible scripture. This week is Psalms 46:10. Be still, and I know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted, in the earth. And until next time, be blessed and be safe. Bye. Say bye, baby.
Bye.